You get that tithe in that church. You get that tithe in that church. You get that tithe in that church.
If I want to believe God for a $65 million plane, you cannot stop me.
God is asking for the 10th. God is asking for the first. And God is asking for the best of all the money that you make.
I heard you was a millionaire. I said, that's not right. That's not true. He said, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. Multi. Now add that to it, you'll be all right.
Some fellow said, okay, I was worth $150 million. I said, that's an insult. $150 million, too small.
And sow a seed.
Somebody's son is going to be set free from alcohol because of your $1,000 seed.
And I'm going to ask you to sow an exceptional and uncommon seed of $1,000.
Click on that donation button to sow $1,144.
So let's talk religion. And for today, I'd like for us to look into the soul of religion. And first, we start by defining what the soul is. So the soul basically is the essence of a thing. For human beings, it is what keeps us alive. Which is to say, without the soul, we die. And we could link this up with human organizations to say that just like human beings, organizations have got souls. And the soul of an organization, whatever it might be, would simply be the essence of that organization or institution. In other words, the soul of an organization would simply be the lifeblood of that organization. The one thing without which the organization does not exist or loses its meaning. So, by that logic, the soul of a school will be knowledge, in that if you take away the learning process, in other words, if there isn't any transfer of knowledge, then suddenly the buildings and the teachers and everything have no use, because the soul of a school is a learning process. The same could be said of banking. The soul of banking would be money. Without money, the banking sector doesn't exist. Without money, the buildings, the structures, the bankers are useless. Or even if there is money, but there isn't any transaction between the bank and customers, within the bank and clients, then the institution loses its soul, because the raison d'etre of the bank is to effectuate financial transactions between clients and the bank. So if you take away this transaction between the bank and clients, then the bank loses its soul. It ceases to be a bank. The same could be said of a court. If you take away the legal code of a country, then the entire judiciary ceases to exist. It loses its soul, because law cannot be practiced without a legal code. The legal code is the lifeblood of the entire judiciary. And so that institution loses its soul. Now, what then is the soul of religion? All religions, whatever religion it might be. What is the one thing that if you took away, then religion would cease to exist? I believe the presumption is that God is the soul of religion. Because every religious organization is there to talk about God, is there to preach about God. In which case, if you took away God from any religion, then that religion ceases to exist. But is that actually the situation on ground? Is God the soul of religion as we know it today? That's what we try to find out in this episode. And I propose a test which we can carry out to find out actually what the soul of religion is. If at all, God is actually the soul of religion as we know it. And the test goes like this. Now, I'd like for you to imagine a country, whatever country that might be. And let's assume that the government wakes up one morning and passes a decree that says from this day forward, any and every financial transaction in the church, whatever it might be, is illegal and strictly prohibited. So, but this country is not run by senseless people. So the decree continues to say that, well, since we understand that money is required to run a church or to run a religious organization, the state is going to step in to provide any and every financial need any religious organization or church might need. So all you need to do is call this number and whatever you need will be provided to you. But going forward, there will be absolutely no financial transactions in the church. Absolutely none. Zero. Nada. And that would mean that there will be no tithes, no alms, no financial gifts of any kind within religious institutions. The state will provide whatever the institutions need. Which is to say, if the church determines that, well, they need a new building to contain a growing number of worshippers, all they need to do is write to the state or call a certain number and make their claim, present a plan of the structure they need, and the state will promptly take charge of that and provide this institution with the building it needs. But it's not going to belong to that institution. It's going to be a state building. Or let's say some religious organization determined that, well, they needed to take care of some needy people in the society. Well, they wouldn't need to collect tithes from their faithfuls because that would be illegal. All they would need to do is call the state and say, well, we have made the determination that these people in these addresses are in need of clothes and food and shelter and whatever. And the state jumps in promptly and provides everything sought after by this religious organization. And all the institution does is give a report of if they're satisfied with the work of the state. And if at any point in time they are not satisfied with what the state did, then the state goes on to make sure that it fills the gap until the institution is satisfied. So basically, the state cuts off every financial transaction in the church, but at the same time provides for every financial need they might ever need, including monthly salaries to those running these institutions, as they wouldn't be allowed to receive any money whatsoever from their faithfuls or followers. In which case, this religious organization is left with the singular responsibility of preaching the word of God to the faithfuls and winning souls for the Lord. But now I ask you the question, what do you think would be the stance of these religious organizations? Assuming that the state does its job as fine as a Swiss watch, do you think they would be content with that setting? The presumption is that they should be happy, because a load has been taken off their shoulders. But will that be the reality on ground? What do you think the state of religion will look like in that country in the next 5 years? Will there be more religious organizations popping up to bring people to the Lord? Or will these institutions start to disappear one after the other? And of course, if these institutions linger on in their operations, then that would be proof that the soul of religion in that country is God and the Word of God. But what if these institutions start to disappear one after the other? What therefore would one possibly say is the soul of religion in that country? And now we could expand the sample size from just a country to the world. What if a similar situation happened in the world? And governments all around the world step in and take full financial responsibility over every religious organization in their respective countries. But in so doing, make financial transactions in church illegal and prohibited. What do you think happens to world religion? And what would it say of the soul of global religion if they stay, if they linger, or if they disappear one after the other? Food for thought. Have a good one.